Welcome, everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is December 13th. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
Hey, man, how's your week been?
Oh, it's been one of those weeks again.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot changed. I'm going to be singing a different song next week, I guarantee.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we make December 15 days?
Right? Yeah, let's just,
Let's get it over with. Let's get through the holidays. Let's get to January 1st. Let's start the new year already.
Yeah, I'm done with 2016. We ended 2016 going, we're going to make 2017 better, and boy, did that not happen.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, just look at some of the things people are voting on right now. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, but at the end of the day, I try to stay positive. That's honestly one of the reasons why I love doing this, is we get to talk about the good things, and just because it has been a shitty year, just all around. But there are some positive things, like it was a good year for games and stuff like that. So
That's
we gotta,
true.
we gotta I think hold on to those things and not let go of them, you know what I mean, and not become too cynical and everything about it. So, but yeah, man, it's been a busy week. I am so mad right now because, and again, I apologize for my pop filter. I promise you, it will be fixed by next week, hell or high water. But I am upset because I've been playing this little game on my phone called Trivia HQ. Have you heard of it?
I've heard a little bit about it. It's not. I don't think it's out for Android yet, so I haven't played it.
It's not, no, but it's taken the nation by storm, including me. It goes live twice a day, 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Over the weekend, the prizes usually range between $1,000 and $3,000. The way it works is there's 12 questions. When you bring up the app, there's a live person on the other end that is talking to you and like 300,000 people. And so there's a chat, and you can swipe that over if you don't want to read the crazy, just crazy amount of people chatting. But basically, it's 12 questions, 12 live questions. You have 10 seconds between the time he starts the question and the time you need to answer it. There's 12 questions, multiple choice, 3 answers each. So, it'll give you 3 answers and you pick one of them. And it ranges from super easy to hard, like straight up trickery. But usually at the end of it, there's always a winner. If someone doesn't win, then it goes on into the next one. But usually, the times I've waited to the end, there's at least like 6 people or something. So, you can win like $62 or something, for example, if it's that many. Over the weekend, they did it twice at night on Sunday at 9 p.m. and then again, I think at 10 for $10,000.
Okay.
And so you win real money.
Right.
You don't gamble any money. It's just trivia.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so like if you win, so like you and 6 other people win $1,000, you split it 6 ways, and they PayPal it, and they send it to you, and you send it to your PayPal, and it's real money. Gary Whitta, who wrote Rogue One, actually won it. He has receipts and everything. Yeah. Which, by the way, side story, I listened to him on the Game Over Greggy show, and he talked about going and seeing Rogue One in the theaters. He goes, I really wanted to see it in the theaters with a normal crowd, so during Christmas time last year, I went to visit he visited his wife's family in Florida and saw it at the Adobe Theater here in Orlando.
Nice.
So there's a slim chance that I sat in the same theater where he saw this film. Because he went to the same theater that I go to.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I thought that was absolutely crazy.
Well, but to be fair, he said he wanted to see it with a normal audience, so he went to Florida.
Hey, come on.
Hey, man, I did my time down there.
Florida gets a bad rap. We're not too bad.
Yeah, just ask the possum that broke into a liquor store last week and got drunk.
Hey, well, they're not in the theater. I think
fair.
I think Florida really does get a bad rap. We got a lot of crazy stuff on the news.
That's true.
Yeah, we do. We get a lot of weirdos, but you know what? It's the fault of the United States. The reason why is because this is a melting pot. Most people who live here usually aren't born here. They're from somewhere else. So the people that are usually getting in trouble, odds are their family or them are from New York, New Jersey, California. Usually people migrate here from the north. California's not one of the north, but you get what I'm saying. It's a melting pot. So we get all sorts of crazy people here.
So you're saying Florida would be Florida would be better off if you built a wall around it, right?
Yes. No, I'm just kidding.
Back during the bath salts episode, you could have actually run on that platform, and it
That's
probably
true.
would have worked.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so anyway, I thought that was really neat. And I know I'm super ADD right now, but I thought that was really cool because he said he saw it in Orlando at the theater because he named the theater that he went to, the Altamont whatever, and I was like, oh my god, that's the same theater I saw it in, and I saw it like 5 times in that theater with the Adobe stuff. So I was like, oh my god, like what are the odds that we were sitting in the same theater and I had no idea?
Right. I mean, possible.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I went back and looked at my what's the website?
At the stubs?
Fandango or whatever, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I saw that I had like 5 dates in there, and they were the Adobe. So like 2 or 3 of them were the Adobe ones. So I was just like, oh my god, that's crazy. But anyway, back to what I was talking about is that the HQ thing. And so I've been addicted to this thing. Anytime it comes on at 3 and 9, I'm in there. I make it maybe 6 questions. I think the most I made it was 9 because I was like, "Oh my god, I'm just a few questions away from winning it," and then something happens where I just don't get the question right. But we were waiting to do the show tonight, and it pops up, and the guy, he's in there. He's got his whole suit has the Star of David all over it because it's Hanukkah, first day of Hanukkah. And I was super pumped to do it. I was like, oh, I got a few minutes to do this, and they have technical difficulty, so I'm sure it will pop up sometime during the show, and I won't be able to do it. But oh my god, is the game so much fun. The people who created it created Vine and sold it to Twitter.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, and then look how well that worked out for Vine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now there was some controversy over this. Apparently, it's kind of a long story, and I don't know if I want to get into it, but like the host of the show, Scott, there's a hashtag Free Scott going around because there's the running gag is that the creators of the show are keeping him locked in a cage only to do this Black Mirror type application. It's so weird when you think about it because it's a live game show that hundreds of thousands of people are playing on their phone, and he's talking to you live through this. It's so bizarre. He did an interview with a magazine, and he gave normal answers, totally cool stuff, and apparently the owner of the company called that paper, and I don't know if it was the Post or whoever it was, and then he was like, Scott didn't get the okay from this. I need to run over. None of this can be aired or printed, and I need to go over the questions. And like he gave all of these crazy, bizarre things. He's like, HQ Live is not the future of trivia. We can't say that. Oh my god, like the craziest shit. And he was like, we will fire Scott if you print this. You do not want Scott to be fired. Please help Scott keep his job. And then at the very end, he goes, oh, this is all off the record, right? And the guy's like, nope, that's not how this works.
Yeah, no, I thought I had...
Everything you just said is recorded now.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah, God.
Yeah. So like the owner of the company posted a tweet out later that day or whatever that was like, I need a good PR representative. So they took a picture with Scott at the mall eating a salad, and they were like, see, everything's fine. It's so weird. All right, sorry. But yeah, so anyway, that's the game that's kind of taken over my life at the moment. So, Trivia HQ, if you have an iPhone, iPad, or whatever you have, Apple, you can download it, and it's coming to Android soon. It's the biggest app on the planet right now, so, or at least here in the U.S. So.
Well, sure. I mean, you increase your market share that way. It just makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm curious how they make money though. I imagine
ads. It's got. Well,
there's no ads. There's no ads during it. There's not a single ad. The only thing I can think of is, like, for example, one of the questions was like, what was the biggest first-person shooter to come out of 2016 that changed the industry or something like that? And out of one of the questions was PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battleground. So I imagine that some of the questions are based off of, like, advertisement. So, like, I imagine PUBG might have a deal with them, or every once in a while they mention something. Like if EA did that or something, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I get you. Instead of having ads, they just work the product placement into the question kind of thing.
Exactly. That's the only way I could see this working, because, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're selling all my data. I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Well, they could be. I mean, that's what MoviePass is doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Hey, you want to know what I see when I see it? I could care less. As long as
yeah, it's like, oh no, you know that I went and saw, Star Wars 6 times this weekend.
Right.
There's a giant shock. Like, oh no, some of the movies that I've gone out and watched. Big deal. Like, not a. You could have that same kind of information probably from somebody's Facebook page. Like, it's not a big, giant deal.
Oh yeah. Speaking of MoviePass, I need to use it. This is one of the reasons why this month needs to be over with. There's too much to do. I had Christmas shopping. I had a family reunion. Anytime I got a chance to go somewhere, I couldn't. And then one of the nights where I had some downtime, it was already like 8 o'clock at night, and I was like, I don't know if I want to drive to the theater. I wanted to catch up on Walking Dead. It's cold outside for Florida. So I caught up with watching Walking Dead, except for the last episode. Have you seen any of it?
I haven't seen anything past the season 7. I think it was the season 7 premiere. Except for last night's episode, or for this week's episode.
Oh, I didn't see this week's episode.
Because I heard, there was so much like chatter of like, we can't spoil this, but it's holy shit, you won't believe this.
Oh, don't tell me.
And so I was just like, fine, I'll watch it. And okay, yeah, like I don't need to have seen anything for a while for this to still deliver that punch. Yeah, no, okay. I got enough, because I'm like, oh, that's right. This is it's not a spoiler about like, oh, they're still fighting the war, and so I'm like, you don't need the minutia of all the little things going on for this to really hurt.
I have to say, this season has been just leagues ahead better than the last one.
That's good.
So much better. The last one, there was so much dragging of the feet, but this one, it's been a war. Like, it's been like action, and then of course there's a lot of drama and a lot of quiet scenes where they do really good stuff with the camera and whatever. It's like The Walking Dead, but it's way more action packed, way more warlike, and I imagine it all comes to a head in that last episode, because shit goes off the rails right before it. So, but yeah, so I'm excited to watch that. I'm probably gonna watch that after we record, or tomorrow sometime. Just everything's kind of getting ready for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine you're getting ready in different ways.
We had a meeting the other day, and the joke going around was, for anybody working any shift this weekend, if you come in early the next morning, counseling will be available to you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I'm there Thursday night. I'm there till close, and I'm just, I'm not, like, on the one hand, I'm really looking forward to it, because it's Star Wars and it's awesome and cool. On the other hand, I'm just like, Because I'm always a person who looks at this, and I'm the one everybody would hate on TV because I'm the one going, okay, here's everything that can go wrong.
Right.
Not here's how we can be ready for it. Just here's all the shit that can go wrong. Like,
Right.
I am walking anxiety about this kind of about everything really, but with no solution. It's like, oh, here's something that could happen, and here's how we can fix it. No, there's no and. It's just, oh, this is gonna go wrong.
Right.
I can see this being terrible. Oh my god, the toilets are gonna explode, and the popcorn's gonna catch fire, and like it's all gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
When really all it's gonna be, it's gonna be hell because it's gonna be busier than anything. But that's good. But that's really just gonna be it. It's just gonna be that busy is all.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting for sure. It's gonna be an experience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I can't imagine, man. It's gonna be nuts. I'm seeing it Thursday at like 9 p.m. Thankfully, our seats are assigned, so we don't have to show up at like crazy hours. I imagine I'm gonna show up a little bit early just to make sure I get like popcorn and stuff because I imagine the line's gonna be out the door for that.
Yeah, I'm going in because on Friday they're doing earlier showings this weekend. Usually our first showing of anything isn't until like 1:00, but they've got a 10 in the morning for it on Friday, and that's when I'm going to.
Okay.
I told my boss at my other job, I was like, I'm just not gonna be here on time Friday. Like, I'm gonna be late.
There you go. There you go.
I'm like, it's just gonna be a while. Sorry.
Yeah. There you go, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Excited we can talk about it next week. I'm sure I'll see a few times between now and then. but that's when that movie pass is gonna come in handy.
Yeah.
Really is. I was gonna say something else about it, but I forgot. Oh well. I'm excited though. There's a few movies still in the theater that I need to see, like Coco, and
Oh, you haven't seen Coco yet?
No. I meant to, but it's just been super fucking busy, and I want to see The Disaster Artist too.
I am so pissed off because that's not playing for until the closest theater to me that's playing that is on the other side of Charlotte. It's annoying as hell because whoever the distribution company is actually yanked it from a bunch of theaters.
What?
And
Why?
I don't know why. I've been looking and I've been asking and I can't find any answers about it. I'm so bummed. Like, we were supposed to get it, and I was excited because I was like, I'll come in and watch that, before, and then just stay for my shift that day or whatever.
Have you seen The Room?
Oh yeah, have I seen The Room?
I don't know.
I've seen The Room. I'm one of those people that has just seen The Room way too many times. Like,
oh wow,
it's bad. Because I remember when that hit, when like all of a sudden that became a giant thing, and I just got sucked into it, and it was. But because it was that, and then Birdemic was not long after, so it was kind of the heyday of like who can make the best worst shitty movie ever.
Right.
But yeah, and as soon as it's like, oh my god, they're doing a documentary kind of film about they're doing a dramatization about the making of The Room. I was like, I gotta see this, and watching Franco do all the press for it. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm burying this hatchet. I'm over it now.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
Did you see him on Up at Noon?
Yeah, I saw the clip where he was reading video game quotes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Oh yeah.
I love that they included the one from Destiny.
Oh yeah.
That to me was so great. It's like, that wizard came from a moon.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, let's get some of the worst quotes from movies.
Yeah.
There was another one out, the one about The Shape of Water. I want to see that.
There we go. Sorry, I had that muted. Yeah, that's I'm curious to see that, because it's kind of like what happens if somebody falls in love with Abe Sapien from Hellboy.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a few movies out, but I mean, I'm sure once I see Star Wars, I'm gonna be like, all right, go back. Need to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's get into the news, because there were some big things that dropped between now and the last time we talked. One of the biggest ones was the Ready Player One trailer. What'd you think of it?
Oh, this is how you make a freaking trailer. This
Oh, yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm back. I was on board before, but now I'm really on board.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. This was because I mean, I guess the other one was a teaser. This one I liked, and I think we talked about it last time, how I wasn't a fan of how it looked so much like a video, like it's like CGI video game, because in my head when I read the book, I assumed that it looked like reality to him, as if he was in it, but I guess it does look still like a video game to him. So they did a very good job distinguishing the two, when he was in the real world and when he was in the video game.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of part of the idea, was like there has to be, you know, for as much as you want it to be, to feel the same, you need it to be, you need people to be able to distinguish some kind of difference.
Right,
you know?
Right. And it makes sense, and you know, it's really cool. It's very Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, all of the different characters. Like, it was an insane amount of stuff, and the Gundam thing really stuck out.
That was awesome. They threw a Gundam in there. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
But and they used part of the message. I called this last week. I was like, they need this, and I kind of wish it had just been that. But just seeing part of it in there at all was like, yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. It was fantastic. It was great. Like, I've watched a few different times to see what I caught. The characters I caught, you know, I mean, it was so many different things. Yeah. Like, even like the Battletoads stood out, the Tracer from Overwatch.
Yeah, that was really vibrant in that scene, and then you suddenly see that costume and you're like, oh shit. That was
right, Lara Croft.
Yeah. God, it's so good.
It had like the female shepherd, I think, behind her too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Well, I saw a lot of complaints like, it's not all 80s stuff like the book, and it's like, okay.
Just, I'm gonna say this. Here's one where you have to put the book aside. It can't be like the book. It's not going to be like the book.
It'd be impossible.
So just don't even start.
Right. And Warner Brothers can't get that many deals.
Right. And here, they can't get that many deals with themselves, apparently.
Right.
But we'll talk about that. But, you know, the idea of like, you know, oh, it's not all 80s and stuff. Well, we don't know what the rest of that army looked like during those scenes. The idea that, you know, there's even, they talk about in the book, like, everybody was really gung-ho about it, and then, you know, it took, what was it, 5 years or something?
Right.
Or however long it was. So, yeah, people got bored. People moved on.
Right.
And it just kind of became a casual thing of like, oh, yeah, sure, we do this, whatever. But everybody's moved on, so it's not, they're not all going to be 80s.
And not everyone's going to be in the 80s. It's going to be a lot of pulp culture stuff. And, you know, so it totally makes sense that Tracer's in there. And, like, you know, we obviously, I guess they have a deal with Blizzard. Who knows? We might see some Warcraft characters in there. But
that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And a lot of those older franchises probably are nightmares to deal with, because I imagine, you know, newer stuff like Blizzard, they're going to be way more accepting and way more, you know, they'd work with Warner Brothers to be like, yeah, put Tracer in there, because that gets eyes on, because someone's going to go, who's that character? Oh, that's a game? Oh my god. Oh, someone will tell them, oh, that's a Blizzard game? I'll check it out. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be way more willing to than an old franchise that you know, doesn't really have anything to buy for you to buy right now.
Right.
And the logistics of their ownership might be a nightmare.
Exactly. Like, the difference between, you know, you go to somebody like Activision Blizzard and you do the whole, like, hey, you know, well, you want to have some Overwatch people. Okay, cool. Or if you're dealing with something old and then you have to deal with the estate of whoever.
Right.
That's those kind of things are just hell.
Exactly. So, we get to see Freddy, obviously, and Chucky and stuff like that. So that's really awesome. And we've only seen a little tiny segment of it. So we didn't even see really, we got maybe glimpses of some of the most pivotal scenes, but that's it. We didn't see a lot of what's in the book, which I imagine a lot's going to hit the cutting room floor. The good news is he's working on a sequel.
Yeah, Klein's writing.
Yeah.
What until there's a title, I'm calling it Ready Player 2. I don't care.
Well, yeah, that's going to be it. Yeah, that's going to be the obvious choice, I think. Which is going to be awesome. I think he wrote something on Twitter, something like, nothing gets you more motivated than seeing Spielberg create your novel to want to go back to that world. It's like, yeah, and I'm sure they jumped a lot of money on the table and said, make more of these.
Well, because he had said a while ago that he had scribbled out some ideas,
right.
But it was more just like, hey, I have some thoughts about it, but now he's officially like, oh yeah, I'm actually writing it. So,
yeah. So
very, very cool.
Hell yeah, man! It's that got me pumped, and everyone I've shown it to. A lot of people haven't read it, and this week they went out and they're like, all right. A lot of people surprisingly were like, I'm going to go get the audiobook. And I was like, you should. It's got Will Wheaton. It's dope. It's, it's I've seen a lot of people these days go towards audiobook because it just fits more their lifestyle, where they're on the go, they're in the car, they're going and going and going. And that's awesome.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. But I told him about that Audible. So it's really good. Another big trailer dropped this week. Jurassic World.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. One thing we learned from the trailer, I don't think that Jeff Goldblum's character is going to be on the island, though, which is kind of a bummer.
But, let's be honest. I think he's probably had his fill of dealing with dinosaurs up close.
Oh, but man, one can dream, because that would be awesome.
Just in the trailer, hearing him say, just slowly work through that line. By the end of it, I was like, say it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I like the trailer. I'm not, I don't think I was excited I'm not excited for this one as I was the last one.
That's fair.
I think Chris Pratt's, but then I take a step back and I realize how exciting this has to be for kids and stuff, and how excited I would be if I knew there was going to be the sequel and all that, being that age. So it's just, I think what's really throwing me off is how excited Chris Pratt is. And I know that's such a weird thing to be taken back from, but in the trailer, when he sees the T-Rex laying on the ground and, he's so eager to go back, and, it just looked like they were in, a weird, a dangerous situations, and he's like, this is so awesome. I was like, what? I don't know. It just felt weird.
Well, and that probably has to tie into whatever his character's been up to since the first one, too.
Yeah, I guess I just loved how scared every actor was when they were going back to the island or they were on the island. Grant, all of them. My wish is that at the end of this movie you see Grant there.
I would love to see a Sam Neill cameo of some kind. That would be really cool.
Absolutely. No, because I want the next one to have both Goldblum and Sam Neill and Chris Pratt. Imagine that. To end the trilogy. Come on, that would be amazing.
It would, but I don't know. I see Jeff Goldblum in the character that he's playing in that let me say, in the state that Ian Malcolm is in, where he's just kind of I'm just gonna be here and tell you straight up, this is all a horrible idea.
Oh, no, that's what I mean. I hope at the end of the movie he's like, I know someone, to make a phone call or something. And he calls him, and he just answers his phone. I don't know. I'm just fanboying out about that, but I would love that. That would be so cool to kind of get those two back together in the film and then have Chris Pratt. That would, because it just sucks. We didn't see them both in the second one. We didn't see them both in the third one. You just kind of saw them opposite of each other, and then, these. So I don't know. One can dream. Yeah. But what do you think of the plot of them not knowing the volcano was going to explode, so they had they built an amusement park back on it?
Well, how many dormant volcanoes are there all over the world that people have built up around?
That's true, but you build a theme park like that on an island? I don't know.
Well, how many people in Hawaii have built their homes near volcanoes that could erupt at any moment.
That's true, I guess.
How many people build their homes in Florida where a hurricane can come through and wipe them out at about the same time every year?
I don't think a hurricane and a volcano destroying an entire island is the same, though.
Well, ask people who went through Hurricane Andrew.
I went through Hurricane Andrew. I don't like a volcano exploding on an island. That's it. You're done. You're dead. Everyone on the island is going to die.
I see your point.
That's total annihilation. Where and you're putting dinosaurs, things that haven't existed for millions of years, all of these eggs on one basket, and you're like, yeah, let's put it on something that could explode at any moment. It seems like couldn't we pick an island that doesn't have a volcano on it?
Stuff will grow back. It'll be fine.
I know, and I'm being nitpicky. I know I totally am. But I'm still. I didn't like what they showed. I didn't like that they were. They showed it going off the edge and everything else, because that scene's not going to mean anything when I see it in the theater.
Right. I don't for as much as I really like the trailer, the inclusion of the run and everything was great. It showed the tension and all, but that almost felt like kind of the end of the movie.
Oh, it totally did. Apparently, it's all in the first, I forget how many minutes of the film. Because that was a concern I saw for some people. I think it was on Game Over Greggy where they talked about, in one of the articles, it said, oh, this is in the first however many minutes of the film. We haven't shown the last half of it or whatever.
Okay, well, now I'm interested.
Right, no, and I agree. It's okay, we've seen the volcano, we see it explode, we see them have to jump off the island. What are they going to do? Where are they going to go from there?
Right.
So, yeah, and it's kind of sad because that's the original island and we're literally blowing it up.
Well, that's one way to make sure that kind of, if you really want to move on, what's the,
That's true.
It's it's an old writing adage, you have to burn the house down.
Oh, that's true. I saw a Max Landis video where he was like, was it burn your stories or something like that?
Yeah, it's,
there's a video or something about it.
Yeah, because there is the idea of you don't, because when you go back, it feels like you're going backwards. And you kind of always want your story to be going forwards. So you have to burn the house down.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And I'm excited to see it. I'm pumped. It comes out next summer, I imagine. Yeah,
what was it? May something? Yeah. March something? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's 3 or 4 weeks after the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Before.
Ready Player One is.
That's right. But isn't Ready Player One in March or something?
Yeah, it's 4 weeks after the Avengers. I looked at that one.
It's weird. It's all weird.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a big year for movies, man. I was gonna say thankfully we have our pass, but I understand. My heart goes out to you.
No, that's all right. Look, man, I'm lucky. I work my 8-hour shift and then I go home. But I feel bad for anybody who's scheduled for that. Because this week I get Thursday night. I know there are people there who are going to be working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and those are the people you got to feel for, who have to deal with all of it.
Adios míos. Yeah.
I'm just those are the people where I'm just you guys, I know going through what little bit I'm gonna have is gonna be enough for me. I've got nothing but respect for everybody that gets through that with their head intact.
Because opening night's gonna be busy, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is going to be busy all day, all night.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and I'm sure I'll go in there Thursday, and they'll already because the fan event's at 6, and I go in at 5. So
is that both
good.
Movies?
No, not at this one. And I want to take a second, if I can, make sure that if you have the ticket for a fan event or a double feature, call the theater. Call the theater and make sure, and there's a list on I know the AMC website, and I don't know what if other chains are doing the same kind of thing. Call the theater and see, because I know we had some people buy tickets for the fan event for our theater, and they swear up and down their ticket says double feature, and we're not doing that. So
okay.
Call your theater. If you've got a ticket that says double feature, call them and see if that's what's going on. I know there's a list on AMC's website that says, oh yeah, these are the theaters. It lists all their theaters, that are doing either of them, and under it it'll say fan event or double feature, and some of them say both. And I don't know, like, I'm sure Regal's probably doing something. I'm sure they've got some kind of promotion going. I don't know what it is, but if you have any questions about anything where you're like, I bought this expensive, crazy premiere ticket, call the theater and make sure, everything checks out. Because we've had some phone calls and people are not happy.
No, last time I tried it, I've never actually talked to someone at a theater when I've called the number. It's always given me the times and that's it.
Yeah, sometimes, that's what you get.
Right, because there's no operator that's going to answer a phone.
Right. And sometimes, the only phones that you have, and I've seen this at the marquee down here too. They've got one or two phones at concession, and if they're busy, they're not going to stay. They have no time to stop and answer the phone.
Right. I was going to say the phone's either going to be in the box office or the concession, and
right.
If you're going to call early.
Right.
They got one line.
Exactly. Or if you've got time, stop by. Run in for 5 minutes if you've got a second, and just go early, right around opening, and say, hey, I've got this ticket. It says this. Is this really what's happening here? Make sure you're clear. And I know that's a problem on, it's a communication problem all the way around. Of sometimes it's not clear. I saw this happen with I think it was Regal a few years ago. I had a ticket for something. And I got to the theater, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not doing that here." It's like, but I got it for this theater. They're like, "Yeah, we're sorry, we're not doing that part." It was another something like this. God, but that's been a while. It's been a while. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was early Marvel something, it might have been an Iron Man double feature or something even. I don't remember. But sometimes these things happen. But and it sucks. But bear with everybody. It's not our fault. Mm-hmm. We don't choose.
Yeah, I'm going on media blackout, I think, for the next few days. Honestly, once we kind of turn off the podcast, that's going to be it.
Yeah, I've been really wary about Twitter, but the good news is I don't really follow anybody who's going to spoil anything.
Yeah, but oh man, but I've unfortunately started following a lot of people that they're not celebrities, but I don't fully know over the years, you know what I mean? A lot of the people that are on Schmoes Knows and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I had to delete someone not too long ago because they posted immediately a spoiler for the Arrowverse crossover thing, immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, gotta remove that person, so I'm off Twitter. I'll probably be off Facebook the next 2 days, just on Messenger. And that's really about it, because the reviews are out and spoilers are out. They're there's some people I trusted that I did see post on one of our Facebook groups that we're in. They posted hey, stay away from Variety because they spoil one of the biggest surprises in the movie.
Wow. Okay, fair enough.
And there's no spoiler warning. They're just some people. I don't understand the mentality of these companies or the people writing the articles. They know what they're saying is spoiler, but it's almost well, this doesn't matter, and let me just be that one person who just can show everyone how much this doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's always that one or two editors or writers or whatever that are just oh, fuck it, who cares? This is going to get traction.
Yeah. Remember a few years ago when the official Walking Dead Facebook page spoiled huge mid-season death for because it didn't air the same time East Coast and West Coast?
Right.
So they did a thing after it aired on the East Coast, and everybody on the West Coast was like, but we haven't, well, fuck you too then.
Right. It's so bad. Yeah, especially when the Facebook group, whoever's in charge of their social media should have been fired. And Walking Dead has a big problem with people immediately wanting to spoil that on social media.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, and I'm surprised I haven't been spoiled yet. Thank God.
I'm amazed you haven't been spoiled yet.
I've seen people we need to talk about this and blah 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 blah. And I'm not on Twitter as much as I think most people, so maybe that's why.
That's good.
Yeah, usually the Facebook groups that I'm in, they're pretty good at self-regulating it, but But you get that one asshole who's like, well, I'm gonna be a troll and get kicked out, and I'm just gonna post something so blatantly spoilery. So yeah, it sucks. People suck. Like I'll never like talk about a spoiler of a movie unless it's like I'll never go out of my way to do that unless it's well, like if I spoil the end of Dumb and Dumber or something, it's no big deal.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, but I'll even be careful about stuff like from the last Star Wars movie. If I know you haven't seen it, why would I go out of my way to spoil it? I will stop what I'm saying and I'll be like, you need to go see this because I don't even want to tell you any more about it. You know what I mean?
That's
Same with games. Like I'm not like if you don't play Wolfenstein 2 or whatever one, I'm not gonna flat out spoil some things, unless I'm like, hey, spoiler alert, I guess.
Right. Yeah, like because I know we'll do a Star Wars review show, but it'll be separate just so nobody's gonna like run into it by accident. Like, oh, I didn't know they were gonna talk about this and spoil it at the end of a show. No, it's gonna be its own. It'll be its own episode of like, oh no, we're gonna talk about this. So here is your warning. Just don't listen to this episode.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
But,
yeah, we're gonna definitely be doing that. So it can be its own thing, and we can talk about it and have the range wide open.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. But anyway, those are the big trailers this week. We got some news that
this fucking news.
So Ryan Reynolds lands starring role in Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
So some outlets said he was the voice actor for it.
He is.
So he's going to be Pikachu.
He is going to be Pikachu.
I hope this bombs. And I know we say we don't hope movies bomb. Fuck it. I hope this movie tanks. I'm sorry. I love Ryan Reynolds. I wish him the best. I hope he does great things with Deadpool and everything else. But fuck, man, this is such a circle jerk of what they're doing to the franchise. I know how ridiculous it sounds at my age to be upset about a Pokemon movie, but fucking A, like, why couldn't they do a live action movie and sort of stay true to... They're doing a game that didn't even come out in the US. I'm not into it. Not even ironically or like, oh, this is gonna be funny on such a weird, stupid level. I don't care, and I think it sucks, and I don't know.
My favorite part of that was the delivery. It's like, he's gonna be the voice? Yeah. I hope this movie bombs.
Yeah, I just do. I'm not gonna see it. I'm not gonna give it any attention. I'm not going to. I have Movie Pass. I won't be seeing this movie in the theater because I do not want to give any money towards it. I'm mad, dude. It's like if Disney bought the rights to Star Wars and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do a movie about, I don't even know,
Ewoks.
Yeah, like we're gonna do. What's the band in Return of the Jedi? The Max Rebo band or what? I don't know. Like,
yeah.
But pick something. Like, pick a random character that you just see for like 3 seconds, and it's like, oh, we're gonna do a movie about him being a janitor at a school.
Right.
Max Rebo. He's gonna be a janitor at a school. he escaped. No, I take that back because that'd be a cool movie. But you get my point. Like, you have this franchise with so much opportunity, and you make a Detective Pikachu movie.
Yeah.
I hope it bombs. I hope you were freaked. People were freaked out when they heard Pikachu talk at the end of the remake of the first Pokemon movie. Now you're going to get a Ryan Reynolds Pikachu. The only good that is ever going to come from this is I hope they make fun of it in Deadpool.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're done shooting and everything, but fuck it, whatever. I don't know. This angers me. like irrationally. I'm sitting back listening to how irrational I'm sounding, and oh my god, I just do not like it. That's my favorite RPG of all. You know what I mean? Like, that was the game that I went from playing normal, regular, games that the popular ones. I guess Pokemon is probably the most popular thing on the planet, but you know what I mean? It bridged that gap, not only for me, but I imagine a lot of kids our age, where they were like, it did something Final Fantasy couldn't do. You know what I mean? It did something that a lot of these companies, they tried to get JRPGs in the hands of Americans in the world, and we weren't biting over here.
True.
Like we had Final Fantasy on Super Nintendo, but it was nothing like the craze that happened when Pokemon took control. And it opened up the world for a lot of people. It got me into trading card games. It got me into JRPGs. It got me I was way more open to these things because of that. And I imagine there's millions of other kids that are the same way. And so it just sucks that something that massive, I think it's probably Nintendo's biggest franchise behind Mario, maybe Zelda. But I think copies sold and everything, Pokemon has to be up there in the top 3.
At least, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it's behind Mario, but fuck, man, yeah, this is just so disappointing to see something like this. Well, what do you think about it?
I'm not quite as angry about it as you are.
Oh, I'm mad.
But no, I look at this and I'm just like, what the fuck? That's really my attitude towards it, is like this whole thing just sounds like a bunch of random ideas all thrown together. It started with the idea of like, okay, live action Pokemon movie. That's a great start. And they went with Detective Pikachu. And it seems like they were just sitting around a table and they picked numbers out of a hat. Mm-hmm. And then, they threw darts at a dartboard and they took the score and they added the digits in the score together. And then whatever number that equaled was the number, that person opened their paper, and that was the franchise, and that was the idea on it, was Detective Pikachu. And it seems like every choice, starting with that one, has been done exactly the same way. This is like Mad Libs casting, it seems like.
It's Mad Libs. We've talked about it before, and maybe that's why it's so frustrating for me, because I watched Max Landis geek out about this for a few years. That was the biggest secret that everybody knew, was that he was working to get a Pokemon television series on Netflix about James and about how his fall to Team Rocket, because his mom was a part of Team Rocket secretly, didn't really let him know. He found a gas leak in his backyard, and it was the show was going to be about him trying to I think he was chasing somebody. I don't know if he was chasing Jesse or whatever, but he was in love with somebody and he ran off, and he was going, and his goals were good, and he was going to change the world, and by the end of it he ends up falling to Team Rocket, and it was about the fall of James. And I thought, holy fuck, what a cool concept, and I would have loved to seen that play out. And he goes, we were at the last negotiation, and the next day he finds out they decided to go with Detective Pikachu instead of his pitch.
Yeah.
And that's just deflating. And he's like, I'll never talk about a thing like this again, because he's like, it's this thing you're in love with, and everybody knows it, and you can't really talk about it, and you're right there at the very cusp of it, and then she embarrasses you in front of everybody, and everybody knows, and you're never going to get a chance with them again. It's like I felt so bad for him. He was very open about it afterwards on Twitter and stuff. He was like, this is just, it's like a public breakup that everybody knows about. And he's like, that's why you don't talk about these kind of things until the ink is dried.
Yeah.
Like he does about Dirk Gently and stuff. But yeah, so. Well, by the way, I tweeted him this week, and he tweeted back. It was kind of crazy.
Nice.
It was about the dumbest thing in the world, because I asked him, I said, hey, I think I'm remembering this wrong, but were you an extra in Little Rascals? And he goes, absolutely not. I have always been a big rascal or something like that my whole life, but I was never an extra in that movie. He said he was an extra in The Stupids.
Okay, sure.
I guess he played a kid that was like painting a fence, and like paint splashed on him, and he was like, hey kids, or something like that. But he was like a kid in it, because I knew he talked about being an extra in one of those kind of movies.
Right.
And I thought for some reason it was Little Rascals.
Yeah.
But that was interesting. Yeah. So anyway, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. God damn it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We saw a trailer which looks amazing. The problem is it comes out Christmas of next year, but Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I didn't know this was going to be like an in-theaters movie.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew it was going to be animated. I knew it was going to be in the theater.
That was, yeah, like I knew it was animated, but I was like, oh, cool. Marvel's going to do another like direct-to-digital animated kind of thing like DC does. But no, it's going to be a wide release, like in theaters thing. I was not expecting that at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The crazy thing is that, I don't know if you heard the news. So, I heard that from Brian Michael Bendis, that he's been gushing about the fact that about the Spider-Man movie, about Miles Morales and everything else. We also know that he recently has jumped ship to DC, right?
Right.
Probably the biggest move of a creator since
Kirby, probably.
Yeah, Kirby. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was pulling up the article that I wanted to talk about here. Probably the biggest move, right? And apparently, he posted on Twitter this week that about a week ago, let me see if I can pull it up. He got MRSA infection.
Ugh, ouch, damn.
Blinded him for 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. He woke up blinded. They basically said this would have killed him if his wife did not get him to the hospital. And so very close, to death. And it's insane that it happened. So, thoughts go out to him and his family. But I thought that was absolutely crazy. But yeah, so he's back in good health. He is recovering. He can see again. He was in the hospital, and I think he's back. Yeah, he's back home now. So thank God. But probably not going to see a lot of his work for a little bit now because he's going to recover. And he said both Marvel and DC, because he still has some things left with Marvel he has to finish, have been super cool, and loving towards him. So,
yeah.
But
damn.
Yeah, and he came out and talked about it the day that Jessica Jones season 2 is announced and in this trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's scary stuff.
Yeah, Mercer's no joke.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah. Anyway, I thought the trailer was pretty cool. The animation in it is just fucking gorgeous.
It's interesting. Like it's not really a style I can pin down. Like it's not anything I'm used to. And
it just gives me this like Blade Runner like.
Yeah, there's very much that kind of feeling. No doubt.
Neon. It's like dripping cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I absolutely love it. Yeah, so Spider-Verse, which means I'm sure we'll get Spider-Gwen and a few other cool characters in it.
Well, she's going to be in this other movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Marvel Rising Secret Warriors.
Yeah, this was another one that just came out of nowhere.
I thought this was going to be a TV show.
It's I don't know.
Why isn't it? It should be a TV show.
Well, here's the thing. Like they're doing a handful of shorts leading up to this. Like a very condensed version of like their old like phase 1 plan of like, hey, each of these characters is going to get their own little like intro short and then there'll be this animated movie.
Yeah.
But it's quite a lineup. You got Miss Marvel, who's going to be voiced by Catherine Kavari. Squirrel Girl, voiced by Melania Vaintrub. Now, here's where this gets interesting. Because this is the only character who's in another current canon property played by the same person. And it's Quake, who is going to be voiced by Chloe Bennett.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, nobody else. There's a couple other people that are in it. There's somebody, Ming-Na Wen is voicing some other character who I didn't write down here, I don't think. but she's not voicing Agent May or anything. And I think there was somebody else was like, oh, this character's been in something, or the actor had been in something, and they're voicing somebody different. So I don't know, like, is this canon, or is this just like a fun little, like, Ultimate Spider-Man kind of side project? Like, either way, it sounds cool, because you've also got Patriot, voiced by Camille McFadden, America Chavez, voiced by Sierra Ramirez, Inferno, voiced by Tyler Posey, and Dove Cameron is going to be voicing Ghost Spider. So I thought that's kind of neat.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh my god, I love these characters.
Yeah,
this is gonna be dope.
Yeah, because I know, like, Squirrel Girl was supposed to be there was supposed to be a New Warriors
TV show.
Yeah, and they kind of did that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, one of those seasons was like Secret Warriors-ish.
Right.
And then, but yeah, there was supposed to be like it was supposed to be a Squirrel Girl led team, and then that just kind of went away. I'm not really sure what happened to it.
It was the girl in the AT&T commercials that ran it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it just kind of never really materialized. Like, it got dropped from wherever, and then it went, like, into, like, they were still talking about making it, but then it never...
I just thought of this. It's probably because of the talks with Disney.
With Fox? Disney?
With Fox.
Yeah.
Disney. I imagine because this is an X-Men frame. It would be an X-Men frame. No, wait.
No.
It'd be Avengers. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. For some reason, I thought for a second, wait, it's Fox that would be like, hey, let's hold the horses for a moment. Let's not do another. But you're right. It's Avengers. It'd be Disney. Okay. So
yeah.
Ignore me.
But like, it just kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. But we'll get this, and it'll be fun, and, we'll see what happens from there.
Is Squirrel Girl a mutant?
That's an interesting question. Because some canon says yes, some canon says no. I think the most recent iteration is that she is a mutant.
Okay.
But there have been... It's one of those things...
I've always associated her with mutants and Avengers.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it was weird. It was one of those things that, like, she wasn't at first, and then, now she is... It's not quite as complicated as, like, you can draw a line from Captain America to Wolverine through the same Weapon X program,
right?
Which is a weird, when I first saw that, I was like, wait a minute, hang on, how does this work? And it's like, oh yeah, no, the Weapon Plus program became Weapon X. Oh, it's just crazy,
right?
But it's weird.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, I think the most recent canon is that she is a mutant.
Yeah, it makes sense, because, I mean...
It would make more sense, yeah. Like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, okay, so the same series... Okay, so Unbeatable Squirrel Girl also temporarily obtains the set of armor based on pieces of Iron Man's set reshapes to fit her, including her tail. The same series also retcons her status as a mutant, noting that her powers are the result of something relating to her RNA or DNA, and that she is medically and legally distinct from being a mutant. So I go, okay,
it's even worse.
Well, that's Marvel going, hey, we're taking her and putting her back as an Avenger so that Fox can't make a movie about her.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's exactly
what it was.
Yeah, no big deal. It's all cool.
Oh my god, it'll give you a headache.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, I was hoping to see Tippy Toe or Monkey Joe on the live action screen. But all right, we got. Why do they even announce this? Why can't they just let this be?
Because Downey posted Downey Instagrammed it. It's his fault.
I guess, but and I guess the company kind of wants you to. Yeah, he'll be in that one. Iron Man's going to be in Avengers 4, so maybe we'll see him walking around. Maybe it'll be his funeral. We don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. Nobody's saying that Infinity War is the end of it. Like Feige was talking about Avengers 4 is going to be the finale for this set. So it would make sense for for him to be, for at least some of them, to be there all the way to the end. And who knows, maybe he makes it to 4 but not through 4, you know?
Right, exactly. 4 is going to be the one where after 4 ends, that's going to be where, like, okay, now it's the, like, permanent with an asterisk, but it's like this is where our universe is going to be moving forward. So anything that happens in the first one, I'm going to take with a grain of salt because there's a part 2, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so sorry, I ended up spoiling something.
We're not going to include that at all, but I want everybody to know that after Adam, in particular, kind of went on a whole anti-spoiler crusade, just dove hard into something that happened not that long ago.
I wasn't thinking. My apologies. Thankfully, this isn't live. I'm sorry.
It was fantastic. No, God, if this had been live, fuck me.
Yeah. But, so anyway,
oh, man, that was funny as hell.
Oh my God. But yeah, so Avengers 4. Can't wait.
Could be a thing.
It's gonna be a thing. Did you see the first look at Jean Grey as Phoenix?
I did. It's Sophie Turner's on fire.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, okay, cool. It's Phoenix. It looks better than it did the last time we had this little go around with The Last Stand. I'll give it that.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Did you see what they're changing though?
What are they changing?
Well, the Phoenix Force, if you're not familiar with X-Men and the Dark Phoenix and all that stuff, it's a force from the universe that comes to Earth and kind of takes her over.
Right.
Where in this movie, it's different. It's something that she's had inside of her this whole time.
Well,
so they changed the origins of it.
Well, I mean, yes, but no, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but that kind of ruins any chance of, any story that involved the Phoenix that didn't have to do with Jean Grey, like the Phoenix Force and
you're talking about the Fox X-Men franchise where they've how many times have they rewritten?
I know, but that's a pretty big deal.
Well, yeah, so is a lot of stuff that they did that they just kind of decided, fuck it.
Yeah, let's take away Wolverine's healing ability. I'd be like, what? That's what? Like, that's a pretty big thing, is that her power comes from inside instead of this cosmic force, which is what it is. It's like what they did with Galactus. They made him like a giant... Oh, should I not spoil this for the Fantastic Four?
Oh, but you spoil... If you haven't seen Rise of the Silver Surfer by this point, that's your own ass.
Completely change what it is. You know what? I'm fine with it, but it just, to me, it shows that Fox is afraid.
Well,
to be like, okay, well that, I don't get it. Like,
I don't think because I didn't read it that way. I don't know. Maybe I need to reread it, but I didn't. It just sounded like it was like, and it awakened this power. Like, that's
what it does. It's supposed to awaken a power inside of her, but I don't know, when I read the article, it was like the Phoenix, they specifically were like, something they're changing is that the Phoenix is something that awakens inside of her and not this Phoenix Force that is a galactic thing.
Oh, so instead of like, it's this alternate being that's inside of her, it's just
that awakens her abilities. Yes.
Right. So they've changed that to now it's like Jekyll and Hyde.
Exactly. That she explodes with this Phoenix and she becomes the Phoenix and has nothing to do with the. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe the writer. I don't know, but that's what I was reading, and it just seemed really off.
I don't like, because that smacks of The Last Stand all over again, kind of.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to be excited for these X-Men movies, knowing that Thursday Disney is going to announce that they own them.
Yeah, on the day we have Star Wars premieres, they're going to announce that they're buying all that Fox shit.
Yeah, guys, we kind of buried the lead with that one. Yeah, we should have talked about that earlier, but here we are. So yeah, Disney is going to supposedly announce.
It's one of those things that's like everybody knows, but it's not official. Like,
right.
It's that kind of thing of like, you're not supposed to talk about it until we make the formal statement. So of course everybody's been talking about it.
Oh yeah, they announced Punisher season 2 this week. They announced the Jessica Jones season 2 last week. They're getting all these announcements out right now while they can. The X-Men, I don't know if we'll see an X-Men with this cast. we got a lot to talk about once they kind of break down what's going to happen.
Right.
Because there's a lot. There's stuff with the Fantastic Four that I don't understand. Apparently, they own the license. Fox owns the license, but they don't own the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Apparently, some German producer does.
There's some weird shit with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. I have to imagine that Disney ironed all of that out during this process.
I'm sure there's a clause where like Disney just cut him a check.
Right, exactly.
Because it's Disney. Like you would,
right.
Say they would come to you and say, all right, how much? And,
right, exactly.
Give us a number. Come on. The mouse has really deep pockets. Give us a
right.
number. Let's go.
Right. And so I imagine next week when we talk to you guys, that's going to be the big news. We'll have our whole Star Wars episode, and we won't talk any spoilers, of course, during it unless I slip.
Again, damn it.
No, I promise I won't. But I imagine the Disney Fox stuff will be major because I don't know, we might get just, hey, this is happening. We might get, who knows. I think the news that we're probably going to get after the announcement, the quickest, is the comic side of things, because that's the side of things that can make changes really fast.
Yes.
That can announce like, hey, this isn't inked, it's not finalized, because I'm sure they'll have to go through courts and everything else.
A year. It'll take about a year.
It'll take a year. So I imagine during that process, that's when the comic book company of it, Marvel, will be like, all right, let's start writing Fantastic Four, because there's nothing holding them back anymore. Besides, they were doing this specifically to, I guess, kind of spite, Fox in a way, which sucked. I hated that.
Yeah.
But the good news is they would have no reason to hold back now. This is them. I imagine in the next month or so we'll be like, yes, we're bringing the Fantastic Four back. It's going to be a huge event. They'll probably have an actual event around it because it's going to be a big deal. And because I imagine they want to bring a lot of old comic book readers back, because it seems like everyone that I talk to about comics, they're all reading DC now. They don't have a reason to read Marvel. They might read, Thor, but that's about it.
Yeah. That's fair.
And Thor's about to have a big change too. Her arc coming up. Oh man, spoilers! But it's the death of Jane Austen. Like, that's literally in the title. So something that people have loved for so long, for a few years now. Jason Aaron's done a great job. I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a big twist. So who knows? Maybe. I don't know. But
it's not actually her. It's her from a different universe, probably.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It'll be that kind of thing.
And this isn't a spoiler to anyone who's read her comic in the last year and a half, because it's all they talk about in it is that she's like, this is it. Like, I'm done in like any moment now. So, but yeah. So
I'm waiting for when they announce Avengers 4, and that's why the title is a spoiler. Because it's the 4. It's that's why. Because I imagine it was supposed to be called Infinity Gauntlet. Because a lot of people actually mention that. I think, what was it? Zoe Saldana was at a red carpet for something and talked about, they're wrapping up war and we're getting ready to start shooting Gauntlet. And, it kind of went around. But I think you called it with Phase 4.
Yes, Phase 4.
And I think that it's going to be it may integrate into the next Avengers film, but I'm with you. I definitely think that when they decide, hey, we're going to talk about Phase 4, and it's going to be that logo.
It's going to be massive. And see, this is the thing. I know most people our age, they're into X-Men because they're 90s kids. But before that, old school comic heads, the Fantastic Four, the first family, were the what would you call it? The monarch of Marvel, basically.
They were kind of it's weird because you're talking about a whole family. They're kind of They are kind of the oh man.
We would not have Marvel today if that did not succeed.
Right. They were the cornerstone of Marvel.
Exactly. Bingo. And so, it was at a time where you didn't have teams like the X-Men where everyone had all these crazy powers. It was these 4 characters, very different, but very much still a family. And at the core of it, it was about a family going on adventures and everything else. And Disney, if anything, they can make that work. We see with The Incredibles. So the whole Phase 4 can revolve sort of around the Fantastic Four in little ways. You know what I mean? I have to imagine for the last year or two when they've been working this deal, there have been creative people behind the scenes trying to figure out how can we get the Fantastic Four in this universe, and how can we get Spider-Man? How can we get the X-Men in this universe? And the perfect way is that Infinity Gauntlet. You can do anything. You can warp reality.
That's
you
true.
can merge worlds. They can be from a different world that everything looks the same like theirs, but it's not. It's different. Suddenly, this thing warps reality where now you have a population of mutants that in their reality have always existed. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Literally anything with this gauntlet. So I'm sure they've had people working on this. And yeah, just to think about it, in Spider-Man movie, we never found out who bought the tower. We never found out who was buying the Avengers Tower.
That's true.
Why? I imagine they've been working on this for a while. Could you imagine if a Sony Marvel film put in the footwork?
No, my God, no. And suddenly,
right?
Oh my God. Holy, what kind of fucking Kevin Feige would be a certified absolute goddamn genius if you tell me that part of that a crucial plot point of the blockbuster Sony Marvel deal movie was that they sold Avengers Tower and it was going to be the Baxter Building. Holy shit.
Yeah, because if Tony Stark is going to sell a thing like that, it's got to be to something. So, I imagine they've had this in the works for a while.
Could you imagine, though, if in the second Spider-Man movie, he swings by there and you just see a sign going up and it says, and maybe it doesn't even say Baxter Building because that's just kind of the colloquial name for it. Mm-hmm. But something like, as they're finishing remodeling, you see this giant sign out in front of it. Coming soon, the home of the Future Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just could you imagine the fanboyism in those theaters?
Oh yeah, they removed the A and they put a 4 there. It writes itself if you think about it. It's this whole transition. Because they specifically leave it out on purpose, I think. There's no reason not to. It's gonna be that's God. That's what I'm thinking. So they've been paving the way for this for a very long time. So I think they left themselves open the possibility of that working out. Because if you think about it, every other phase they've been at Comic-Con like, here's what we're going to do. Here's what it's called. Here's what it's about. This one, they've been very coy about. They're like, we're going to have Captain Marvel and all these other things. But it wasn't like a big, giant announcement with all the – they've been very kind of behind closed doors about it.
Yeah, like with Phase 3, they dropped it on the table like, here's what we're going to have.
Right,
and then we got like a surprise announcement or two later. But with Phase 4, what do we know? Guardians 3 and Spider-Man 2. That's it.
They kind of – exactly. They announced it with a ton of other Disney movies.
Yeah.
Because it was like, here's all these Disney movies coming out. Instead of like a map of Marvel movies, It was like, here's our map of Disney movies. And it shows all this. So it looked like a full map. But it was like, wait a second. Where's all the Marvel films? Because I don't think they want to spoil if there's not going to be another Thor, Cap, or Iron Man and stuff like that. And so now they have all these properties. We don't need necessarily an Iron Man 3, a Thor, Iron Man 4, Thor 4, that kind of deal. I think to keep them as something very special to show up in Avengers 5 and stuff like that. And who knows, down the road, Chris Hemsworth's like, you know what, I want to do another one. Let him do another one, that kind of deal.
Sure.
Yeah, because all three have been pretty solid. Out of all the 3 franchises, there's maybe one of the movies in them that's not as good as the others, but that'd be a really cool thing to own. put them right back up, next to each other on a shelf somewhere. Those three trilogies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for the future of all this.
It's why did it have to be Thursday? Why couldn't it have been the day? Damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, we'll be talking about next week, and hopefully by then we get a little bit more. I hope like they do with Star Wars, where they're like, "Oh yeah, here's the deal, and here's what our plans are." But I know it's not going to be like that. They got to make sure that the ink's dry and that the government says okay and all that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting seeing what happens to Fox.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go private, and it's going to be, they all talk about what's going to be the sports and the news. Okay, because that's
my bad. I meant like the local channel, like The Simpsons.
I'll tell you, because here's the thing: Fox as a network will continue to exist. We know that
under Disney.
No, the station. Here's what's interesting: the actual. I'm gonna split this up in two ways. I don't know the technical names for it, but this is how I keep them straight in my head. There's Fox Broadcasting to me, which are the actual studios and the affiliates.
Okay.
These aren't the people that make the stuff. These are the people that broadcast it. That's the way I think of it. Those are not included in the deal. What is included in the deal is Fox Studios, the people that actually make the stuff.
So we're probably not going to get a lot more live action shows on Fox.
What we're going to see on Fox, depending also on whether or not they sell off, included is their 50% share in a company whose name I cannot remember. It's like Emisald or something, who does a lot of reality programs. They do MasterChef. They do, I think, Big Brother. There's a handful.
Okay. So the one's on Fox.
Exactly. So whether, even if they sell that off, I think what we're going to see on Fox is more reality TV and more like sports and news content. I don't think you're going to see a lot of scripted programs beyond what we know is already renewed. Like the Orville has another season. And I'm sure there's a couple others that have been renewed for at least one more season, plus the staples. Because Disney is not stupid. Disney is not going to alter any deals with The Simpsons or Family Guy or any of that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. They're not dumb enough to look at that and go, well, we could just move them to ABC now. No, they're going to air on Fox. They're going to stay on Fox. I know they have multi-year deals, and I don't know when any of them are up. But I think at the end of that, Disney's not going to pluck them off of Fox to put them somewhere else. People have been tuning in to watch The Simpsons on Fox for 30 years. It's it's where they are. It would be insanity to change that. So they won't.
But I now brings another question. Does The Simpsons ride State Universal Studios? I have to imagine that will eventually go.
Maybe.
Yeah, they'll have to redo it. Just like it was Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But now it's like a whole section of like Simpsons stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, there's, those theme park deals are weird because you've got so much stuff at so many different companies. Those are strange. But I don't see a lot changing on Fox in the near future. Right. Here's the thing that interests me the most. Marvel is going to be part of this company that owns the studio that makes Gotham.
Right, that's going to be crazy. I imagine that show won't last too long.
That's going to be a weird deal because I know it's they're doing it through their DC partnership and everything that Fox has right now. But like that's got to be so weird to say, hey, the company that was helping distribute your show, we just bought them.
Yeah, I imagine they'll have to move it to CW or something. I imagine all of this is a part of the deal. They'll have to kind of nail things like that down.
And I'm sure they have. Like I have no doubt in my mind that they've got all this hammered out.
Who knows? Maybe, it sucks to say this, but if it does end, that's going to suck for fans of Gotham. But maybe that opens it up, the possibility of doing a Batman show on the CW along with the Arrowverse. Who knows?
Yeah, boy, wouldn't that be something?
That'd be crazy. I kind of like Gotham though. That's the thing. There's going to be some casualties to this. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, some stuff is just gonna go. But what I'm looking for in all of this. Think about Disney's streaming service now is going to be monstrous.
Oh, absolutely.
The content they're gonna have and no place to put it. It's going to be huge.
I just hope that they continue to put out stuff as if Fox never ended. 20th Century Fox. Because the only thing, what I imagine would suck coming from this is now that they own the studio, they don't put out as much stuff as they were before. And so a lot of franchises fall to the wayside.
And we're going to see some of them go.
Right. I keep telling myself, though, that, this was going to happen. They were going to sell it regardless.
Hang on.
It was.
I have a question. And I know I'm sorry to jump in like this, but I just had a thought. Who hang on, go ahead, do your thing. I gotta look this up. I'm sorry.
No, I forgot. I was gonna say that, someone was gonna buy the studio. It was gonna be Disney or it was gonna be someone like Comcast.
Right.
I'd rather Disney in charge of these franchises than Comcast. Because it was going to be someone big. It couldn't have been someone small. It couldn't have been a startup, production company. It was going to either be someone big or someone foreign or something like that. I don't know how I would have felt about that. I like that Disney has it. It would have been interesting if someone like Amazon or Apple got a hold of it, because that would be an interesting platform. But our choice was this or Comcast. So I think the answer is pretty clear.
Yeah.
That I would have much rather had Disney have it. So, at the end of the day, that's how you have to think about it. Fox was going to sell this. They do not want it anymore. It was going to go away. Yeah. So, I guess you kind of have to think of it that way, because, like we talked about, some of these franchises are going to fall to the wayside. We might,
I think though, in their place, and if Disney is smart, they will do this. And I don't presume to act on something like Disney that often, because they have a pretty good track record. There is something that Fox owns the rights to, that if Disney goes through with this buyout and it's included in the package, they could say, hey, there was a TV show a while back that just got one season.
Ooh, I know what you're talking about.
Fox, included in this deal, could be selling Disney the rights to Firefly.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want everybody to stop and think about that for a second. Yeah. Because that was my immediate thought when you said some of these franchises are going to go. And I was like, yeah, but, Fox has done that shit. Remember Fire? Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. They could easily take that franchise and put it on something. I mean, God, they'll have how many platforms they can put it on?
I mean, just could you imagine the roar at Comic-Con?
Oh, yeah.
They mend their fence with Joss. They say, you know what? Here's our olive branch to you. What we went through some shit with Age of Ultron. We're sorry. Here.
Yeah.
Do this.
Mean, Warner Brothers just kind of left him on his ass.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, you're absolutely right. That would be phenomenal. And that would
just, imagine him at Comic-Con next year. Maybe it has to be year after. Maybe it has to be 2019. But just if they're out on stage and Disney's doing a whole thing about stuff they bought from Fox, and from one side of the stage, here comes Joss Whedon, and from the other side of the stage, here comes Nathan Fillion in outfit, that place would explode.
Oh, it'd be crazy.
You would have to end Comic-Con at that point, because nothing would ever get a bigger reaction in that place.
Oh yeah, and put it on your application.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, 2019 or 20, we're gonna have a Star Wars show on our app and Firefly.
Yeah. Oh, and hey, did you guys want a second season of Firefly? Could you?
Right.
God, it would. You would break Comic Con. You would.
Yeah, absolutely would.
You would absolutely break Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
I. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just thought about that, and I'm freaking out.
And I honestly think Disney would be smart to just kind of rename the company that they purchased. Like what was it, 20th Century Fox? We said like 21st or 22nd Century. Keep it as its own little thing. So when you make a movie and it might be rated R like Deadpool, it doesn't say Disney in the front. It just says the 20th Century Fox. That's all they have to do to so they can still keep their. Hey, any Disney movies rated PG-13 and under, they would still keep that, just like what they did with Pulp Fiction and everything else. Any company, like Miramax was underneath them. Anything like that, that's all they have to do. But yeah, so we got some other news. We got our first look at Aquaman in the standalone film.
Yeah, I needed a seat after seeing that picture. God damn.
Yeah, I thought I saw this a few weeks ago, but yeah, it's crazy. That guy makes me feel so bad about myself.
Yeah, it's like you look at that and you go, if I went to the gym, I would never look like that, so why bother?
Never. I could be a professional wrestler and never look like that.
No, hell no.
I'd be too much like Kevin Owens. Shazam, Jack Dylan Grazer joins the cast as unannounced role.
Yeah, they keep piling them on there.
Oh yeah. Now I thought he was the kid that's like, isn't he handicapped or something? I don't know. I saw images and I don't know. I think I'm misremembering it. We got some Creed 2 news. Stephen Caple Jr. to direct.
Yeah, and he's apparently fairly very new. So good for him. Instead of Stallone, because the talk was like, hey, we're gonna have Stallone, and everybody just kind of went, oh, no, please.
Right.
Just, but I'm good with this. I like the idea of it being somebody new.
Oh yeah. Dexter Fletcher from Eddie the Eagle is replacing Bryan Singer as director of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting choice.
Yeah. Are You Afraid of the Dark gets a October 11th, 2019 release day.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah. And let's jump into some TV news. Not much this week. We had Sophie Turner said that the final season of Game of Thrones will air in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. We had been hearing about, it was going to keep filming into next year. And, we know how much post-production that show needs anyway, let alone now that we've got all the crazy shit that's going on. Mm-hmm. So, it makes sense. It stands to reason it'll be 2019.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We've got Westworld this year though, don't we? To kind of tide us over, I hope.
Oh yeah. Westworld comes out this year because it was gone 2017.
Right, so it'll be 2010. Well, I meant next year. People know what I meant.
Yep. My bad. But yeah. So, what else I saw? Maybe we should save this for later. But I saw the documentary Jim and Andy.
Yes, I did too.
What did you think of it?
Man, it was good and weird, but it wasn't weird in a sense of, oh, I don't know what I watched. You know exactly what you watched, and it was fascinating as hell.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've always respected Jim Carrey, but I have a lot more respect for him. I don't know why. I left that movie I know when you're watching it, the whole idea behind Jim and Andy, if you don't know, it's a documentary on Netflix, and it's basically behind the scenes, firsthand footage of them making Man on the Moon. And basically, Jim Carrey, if you don't know, he was Andy throughout the entire process. He was as method as you can get.
Yeah.
He showed up on set as Andy. He left the set as Andy. He was Andy the whole time. And throughout the production and after it, he was forever changed.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, I know recently he's made the news about him being crazy and stuff like that. You can see a lot of that in there because it cuts to him talking about, it cuts to 2017 Jim Carrey talking about what happened to him during that film, and basically all of the films that he's done, has shaped who he is today.
Yeah.
He says he's never taken a role that hasn't, profoundly changed him, which is interesting.
It is.
And he talks about the man of 1,000 masks and stuff like that, and like at the end of the day, you just keep taking them off, and you keep taking them off, and who is Jim Carrey?
Exactly. When do you find the right one, or has it just been a mask too, and you don't know?
Yeah.
It's really, really fascinating, and it's hilarious.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's absolutely hysterical.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, no, I mean, at the end though, I felt sad, and I don't know, that just, I'm not going to say what happens in the end or what Jim Carrey says, but it definitely got me, like, I'm not worried for Jim Carrey, but like, I love his honesty. I love that he's not afraid to talk about depression and things like that. And
I see that. I didn't see it that way.
No,
I saw it more in terms of just relief of like, whatever. Like, it's not. It didn't seem to me like he was in trouble. It seemed to me that he was just like, when whatever happens, it happens.
Right. It was the no ambition. That's what threw, because it seems like he's had ambition his whole life. Like him living, in his car, and him, struggling to help his father with bills and everything else, and he made it as he became the biggest actor on the planet. And he talks about how he lives in the country of ambition and he has none of it.
Yeah.
And so that was a little sad to me. But you're absolutely right. It is him saying, like, I am free. I am as free as I've ever been, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are gonna knock him and stuff for that, but I love his honesty.
Yeah, it's not, and here's the thing: it doesn't feel like an act because it's not, just because it's not outrageous. It's not a character. It's somebody, and he's not trying to peddle anything. This isn't like a some kind of, some of the religious fraud people who take it way too far, and they're like, and you will achieve this if only, for these low monthly payments or whatever crap. Like, it's not that in any way. It's just he's got to this point where, hey, I'm just, whatever.
Yeah. He said he went and stood out in front of a restaurant one time.
Yeah.
Just stand there, and like he knew there were paparazzi and stuff around, but when they asked him what he was doing, he's like, nothing. I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, that's what was so great, because he was just like, nothing.
Yeah.
And that had to throw him, because that's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really, it was kind of to prove a point, but also at the same time not really.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to, like, just be normal for a moment. Like, just go and stand. Like, have you ever, you ever go grocery shopping or go do something and you have a thought and you just kind of stand there, or you think about something? Like, anyone else has the ability to do that, but when you're a celebrity, it's like that's taken away. And that's what I got of it. Like, you just kind of wanted to do it, just to do it. Little things like that. It's very interesting. Go watch the documentary. It makes me want to go see Man on the Moon now.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it in years. I've seen parts of it.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta watch. You gotta watch.
Or at least I'm remembering parts of it, because it's been so long.
Yeah.
And it's not a movie that I watched like for over and over again, like Dumb and Dumber or something.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once, and I also wasn't the right age for it. I don't think so.
You'll definitely go back and watch it now, because I watched it a couple weeks ago when this came out. I went back and rewatched it before I saw
it's on Netflix?
It's not on Netflix.
How ironic.
I know, right? A little bit. At least I don't think. Now, I didn't look, but I don't think it is. But yeah, I watched it before I watched this, and I realize now, like, oh my god, Andy Kaufman was the original troll.
Oh yeah.
But he did it the right way.
Oh, it makes sense why he was a wrestler. Like,
it is. That's
the greatest heel.
Yeah, it makes total sense, because the whole thing about that is that you buy into the bit completely.
Oh yeah.
And that's what and he, so of course it fit.
You hiss and moan at me again. Yeah, he was just perfect.
But yeah, go back and watch that.
Seeing Jerry Lawler in the documentary, like how Jim Carrey like pissed him off, and he's like, Jerry Lawler's like, Jim doesn't get it. Behind the scenes, me and Andy were pretty cool. Like he doesn't understand that in real life we had conversations and we talked and whatever. But like, yeah, it was funny to see Jim Carrey just like, how far do I take this?
Yeah. There was always kind of that struggle with that. And my favorite bit from that was when they did something exactly like what Andy would have done, which was when Hoff invited them to the Playboy Mansion for the party.
Oh yeah.
And so they were like, yeah, but you don't get it. Like, you don't, we're not, invited Jim Carrey. They were like, but you don't get it. You don't get, Jim isn't here, but Andy is here. They were like, fine, fine then, send Andy. And so they didn't send Andy, they sent Tony Clifton.
Right.
But they didn't send Jim as Andy as Tony Clifton. They sent Bob Zamuda, who they would do on occasion, and have him be Tony Clifton just so Andy could show up, because promoters were thinking, oh, if we book Tony Clifton, then, like, we know it's Andy Kaufman, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right.
So we're paying less because we're getting Tony Clifton, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, not Andy Kaufman. So Zamuda would show up as Tony Clifton, and they wouldn't know until Kaufman showed up.
Right.
So when Zamuda as Clifton shows up to the Playboy Mansion, and then Jim Carrey shows up.
Oh yeah, he's like, wait, no, I haven't been here at all.
Oh god.
The security just goes nuts.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck?
My favorite was the scene where they were in the trailer and he plays the loud music obnoxiously, and the guy playing Tony's dad is like playing Jim Carrey's dad, or Andy's dad, is just yelling at him and berating him, and it's like, you are going to get, like, there is going to be lawsuits and everything else, and he's yelling at him, and then he walks away, and the lady doing his makeup and hair breaks down, and she's like, that reminded me of my father.
Yeah, like, it's a hell of a thing.
And the people who really knew Andy in real life, like his daughter, his father, all these other people that were his ex-wife or whatever, and they talked to Jim, but of course Jim is being Andy. Yeah. Like, that really, I never thought of it like that. And like, how Jim Carrey just explains, like, yeah, just for an hour I sat with his daughter, and, I she told me how much she loved her father, and I told her how much, he loved her as Andy. Like, that is,
yeah,
and that is therapy on another level.
Right. And but that was the thing, like, they all understood,
right.
They knew they weren't, they were, but they weren't talking to Andy.
Exactly.
Like, they had that in their head. They understood it.
Right.
And,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
it was just therapeutic.
Yeah. God, that must have just been so bizarre. But
oh, yeah. Just to say it out loud, and for someone to hear it, someone that's, for every sense of the word, is looking and feeling like him. So that, that's crazy. It's an interesting film. Go watch the documentary. It is phenomenal.
It's magnificent. I loved it.
I want Jim Carrey to get more work. Like, even if it's just serious roles. I don't care if it doesn't have to be comedies or anything like that. I don't know if he's retired or not. I don't know.
I don't think he knows either, really.
No, yeah, that's true. That's very true. I don't think he does at all.
Jim, what are you doing?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, and that's crazy to think about, man.
Bizarre.
Oh yeah.
But hey, more power to him.
Have you seen the other documentary he did? It's kind of short. It's called I Needed Color.
No.
Definitely check it out. It's on YouTube, I believe, and it's about what he does now. He literally paints all day, every day. You can buy his artwork for a lot of money.
Well, sure.
I imagine. I'm just saying. I imagine. I think they go to auctions and stuff like that. But he has been doing art for years now, and it's helped him with the depression and everything like that. So
yeah.
But oh man, yeah. So anyway, where were we? Sorry to be derailed too much.
Right. Kind of.
The Video Game Awards.
Yeah. Before we do the Game Awards, I want to say one thing about the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Fuck them for not nominating Wonder Woman for anything.
Right.
Patty Jenkins didn't get nominated. Gal Gadot didn't get nominated. There were no female directors nominated, and that's just I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But the awards this year are here's a shock. An award ceremony didn't nominate some people who should have been nominated, but this is on a whole nother level of like, really, you couldn't pick one, really.
Right.
Like we have no female directors nominated. We lost, we missed a lot of nominations for acting that there should have been. Like this was, I don't know, man. This was some nonsense.
Yeah, didn't like Logan was overlooked?
Well,
I loved Logan. I thought it was great.
I did too, and I thought it was fantastic. But I'm okay. Like that's just systematic of like if they. They nominated one superhero movie one time, and that scared the shit out of them enough when it was like, we can't ignore The Dark Knight because it, made everything and, everything that happened with Heath Ledger. So they nominated it, but like,
It's a shame though, because I don't know. I just like Wonder Woman. I thought Logan was great.
But they won't. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with the Oscars, but like they just refuse to take superhero movies seriously.
Yeah.
Even when they're damn good, and I don't know. I don't like, I don't mind the idea of like, hey, some independent films are really freaking good because they are, but we have to, ever since Crash won during that abomination of an award ceremony, because just. Fuck that movie. It's been like all independents all the time. And we don't get Lord of the Rings nominated for anything anymore.
Exactly. It's a shame.
Like the only thing that these movies get nominated for is effects. And it's always shit like Transformers gets nominated. Just,
They're afraid of those genre films. I mean,
they're terrified.
Yeah. I mean, and this isn't a spoiler or anything. One of the things that I saw, and it's from Jeremy Johns. I don't know if you know him, the guy on YouTube does a lot of reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I trust him for not spoiling anything. I didn't watch his review or anything like that, but he was just like, this is the kind of like the Dark Knight of the series. Like this is to be taken seriously, if that makes sense.
Fair enough. Yeah, that makes. I can understand that because Empire was the same way, kind of.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so like, I'm
sense.
excited for it. It's got like a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like that's how good it came across to a lot of people. So and I don't think Star Wars will ever come close to getting those kind of awards, and except for. Like you said, graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, they'll editing and sound effects and design and visual effects, but you're never gonna see a director for a long time for the future. I don't think you're gonna see a director for a big summer blockbuster get nominated. And it's annoying as shit because Patty Jenkins should absolutely be nominated. Full stop.
No, I completely agree. Did James Franco get nominated?
He may have. I actually have the list here in front of me, and I'm just gonna look because I know the Disaster Artist was nominated.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Best Actor in Motion Picture Drama.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be nuts?
Best Actor in Motion Picture Comedy Musical. James Franco, the Disaster Artist.
Wouldn't that be crazy if someone got a Golden Globe about a film about another film that was considered one of the worst films in history?
That's just
so meta, and we can't get Patty Jenkins nominated for Best Director.
Exactly. Thank you. Amen.
Right.
Like here's James Franco acting, portraying one of the weirdest people to have ever been involved in Hollywood in some time, and doing a great job. Don't get me wrong, but we can't get Patty Jenkins nominated for directing Wonder Woman. Like seriously. That's just garbage. Because I know he didn't direct that, did he?
No, I don't think so.
I was gonna say, because that would just suck.
No, I think.
I
think. What's his face wrote it though?
That narrows it down.
Seth Rogen, didn't he write it?
Did he write it? I wouldn't be surprised if he had a hand in it for sure, but. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can look it up here. Disaster artist. Let's see here. No, he didn't.
No. Who did?
Scott Nesteder. I can't pronounce that. And Michael Weber.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
I guess I just assumed he wrote it because he's always tied in with this project.
Right. Yeah. If he's
right. Same writer for 500 Days of Summer, The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he wrote all those, and then he wrote this, which was, I don't know. In a way, it's not all that different, and in a way, it's really different. I don't know. I
love The Fault in Our Stars. That's one of my favorites. I really like that movie.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
It to me was just like, hey, this was a walk to remember, but for the next generation.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't know. It caught me by surprise. I didn't think I was going to like it. I was kind of forced into it. She's like, we're going to put this on. I was like, what's it about? And I was like, that sounds really sad.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, well, get ready to cry. So put it on. I was like, I want to watch anything else right now. And by the end of it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. No,
that was good.
Yeah.
And of course, those are two gigantic actors right now. So
yeah, no question.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna go see Disaster Artist. I'm seeing Star Wars between now and Wednesday. It's either Disaster Artist or Coco. I have Movie Pass. I can go tonight if I want to do. I don't know what I'm thinking. I got work. That's the problem. If we didn't have jobs.
Yeah. Right. No kidding.
Just kidding. But so anyway, the Video Game Awards.
Yeah. Big
Fuck
winner.
The Oscars.
Look, I'm gonna buy. What game was he there for?
The guy who did Brothers. I think it was for A Way Out.
That's right. I want that game now, just because of him.
Oh yeah.
I love how he and this may be a weird statement. I love the way he stood by EA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love that he stood by EA because I don't think he's right, but I love the conviction, and I love the way he did it. It was like, you know what? Sometimes developers and sometimes publishers fuck up, but you know what? Just fuck it.
They treat me good. He said.
That's it. There you go. And that's honest. I'll take that. I will take somebody who's not going to try to kiss ass and then turn around and say, but blah blah blah. He's going to say, look, I've had a great time. I can't, look, they did a thing and it sucks, but hey, they did good to me. We get to we're coming to the point here in a minute. No, we've got to go. Let's play the trailer.
Oh yeah, it was super awkward.
It was, but I loved him so much.
I do love him. Yeah. I hope someone sits down with him and like gets a interview where he can just gush about it like the way he did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they will. I'm sure IGN and everyone's all over him now. But hearing like Jeff Gerstmann from Giant Bomb, they're like, yeah, no, we've met that guy. He is exactly like that in real life.
Yeah.
And he loves him for that. I saw an interview. I read an interview where he's like, "Oh no, I wouldn't change a thing. I would have said everything I said up there." He's like, "I was caught up in the moment, and that's who I am." And his idea was that like him saying "fuck the Oscars" is like he's like, "This is a serious art, and we need to stop trying to." Try to be so much like the Oscars because we're afraid it's not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so he's apparently that's just who he is. How outrageous he was when he was saying all that stuff like "fuck the Oscars," and he has no filter. So yeah, no, I completely agree. And Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is a fantastic game if you've never played it. It was a PS Plus game one year.
Yeah.
One of these months. So I hope you got it. It's heartbreaking. It's a really good game. It's Total Biscuit's favorite game of all time.
Wow.
He has it marked.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's how much he loves it. And this game is interesting too. Apparently, if you buy it, you only have to buy one copy, and you can play with your friend online the game. So they play the other person, you play one person. You only have to own one copy.
Awesome. We should Twitch that. We should stream that.
Should absolutely do that. I'll be down for that.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll work on because that, and I'm rolling around some other ideas in my head because we should, there's more stuff we need to do. But that was what got that ball rolling in my head. Was like, that would be really fun to do on Twitch. That'd be kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. But yeah, so I mean, so that was really cool. It was an awesome moment. I think. Oh man, I gotta look it up. But record numbers watched it. Jeff Keighley. I don't know if you can pull up his Twitter or anything right now, but he tweeted out like how many people watched it, and it was like over 11 million, or I don't know, some crazy number. I probably have it all off, but
yeah.
So, the more people watch it, the better. I hope it stays kind of on the internet and doesn't go back to Spike TV or anything like that.
Yeah,
And,
11.5 million live streams.
Which is crazy.
That's insane. It's 3 times what it was last year. Jeez, God.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Disrespect, who's basically a professional wrestler that streams. One, I fucking love him. Have I talked to him about him before? I'm pretty sure I have.
I think for like the last month now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it hit me this week, and I made a post about it. He's basically Ric Flair of streaming, because he's the 2-time. He's on top of the mountain, but he's only halfway up. Like, all of his shit is wrestling phrases.
Yeah.
He literally puts a promo on when he starts streaming. He cuts a promo. Anytime he kills somebody, he cuts a promo. He gets someone in his team that's just talking shit. He will go at them hard. He'll bust into Mandarin. He is just, and it just hit me when I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my god, that's all he did. All he did was took streaming, and he goes, hey, I'll make a character, a wrestling character from the 80s, and it will be entertaining as hell. And that's exactly what he's done.
There you go.
And he's taken over the world. He won that award. He won Streamer of the Year for Twitch and like all this other stuff. So like, good for him. He's crazy, awesome. But yeah. So anyway, what was shown there? I know they had the Death Stranding.
Yeah, that was the big thing. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I'm okay. Like, it's just like more and more kind of different weirdness every time. I mean, like, it's interesting, but now I'm kind of at the point where I'm just like, all right, I kind of just want to play the game now.
If you ever want to know what acid is,
yeah,
watch that video.
Yeah.
It is straight up an acid trip. Oh my god, it was amazing. Like, I don't want this game to ever come out. I want every year him to release a new trailer.
Yeah.
And never a game. Because I just want more weird. I just want the studio to release trailers every year.
Yeah.
Probably can't make money doing that.
No, it's probably going to be a really bad business model.
But I love it, though. Wouldn't that be the biggest troll if they're like, no, there's no game, there's just a movie, here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Because, yeah, what's the game going to be? It's so interesting.
It's hard to tell. I think I saw something with Kojima where he explained some of the lore and gameplay.
Yeah.
I think there was an article about that. But
like, your health is the baby in the jar, or like, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Obviously, I guess that's why he's alive. He's got the baby inside of him. I don't know what I saw. It just doesn't make any sense. It blew my mind more than Mario being a frog. And thinking about that, and how is the frog still alive? Is Mario the frog? What happened to the frog's soul? What is Mario? It's just you don't think about it too hard.
Oh, hi, Mario.
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Where is the frog's soul? I think we found our episode title this week.
Yeah, where is the frog's soul? Yeah, where'd it go?
Okay, all right. I got a list here of what they saw. We saw a trailer for a World War Z game.
It looks stupid.
Yeah. We saw a trailer for Vacation Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a brief teaser from Software.
Mm-hmm.
We saw in the Valley of the Gods.
Yes.
From the guys who created Firewatch. Looks cool. Where's the rest of Soul Calibur 6. That was the other thing.
Well, it looked like a remake of the first one.
Kind of, yeah. And I'm all right with that. Where they're like, look, this is our announcement trailer. And it's these two characters that you know.
Totally cool with that.
Done with that. We saw, they're porting Bayonetta 1 and 2, and then we saw, oh, by the way, Bayonetta 3.
Yeah, and when is Bayonetta 1 and 2 coming to the Switch?
February 16th.
Perfect.
Yeah, just after Valentine's Day.
Awesome.
Yeah, we saw the Death Stranding stuff. Witchfire, which looks kind of neat. because it's from the Bulletstorm crew.
Oh yeah.
We talked about A Way Out. We saw the desert map for PUBG.
Oh my god, that map is so much fun! Holy shit!
And
it's so cool to explore it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, and like I think that was it.
One thing that I thought was super fucking cool was when they brought Carol Shaw out.
That was awesome.
Yeah, the video game designer who did River Raid, which is in the new Call of Duty game, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
But obviously the old school Atari game, she made a few of them, and River Raid was probably her best known game, which was fucking awesome. And it was before our time, obviously, but it was big enough where I recognized that when I saw that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was just so cool because it was at a time where you just did not think of women in that field, and obviously they were.
Yeah, unfortunately, we still don't think of women in that field.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. I thought that was super important. And honestly, next year, my hope is that we get more moments like that. I would rather see 2 or 3 hours, however, it's really long actually, like 3 or 4 hours.
3 hours, yeah.
Of them honoring people in the industry more so. I know they have to do the trailers. I know they got to do the Doritos and the go on eBay and whatever. I get that, but I thought it was weird that they were like, oh, and this year's RPG goes to Persona, and then it just like moves on.
Yeah.
With some of them. I wish they would take a step back. It doesn't have to be like the Oscars, but pay more respect to people in the industry like they did with that. Those cool little moments, I'll watch hours of that.
Yeah. No question, for sure.
Yeah.
I did love that Melina Juergens won Best Performance. That was such an awesome moment, and seeing her get up there and just kind of go, I'm not an actor. Like they were like, right. Hey, can you read this? And so I did, and now here I am. Like it was That was just such an awesome moment. Like
it really
that stuff was so cool.
Oh yeah, that stuff is my favorite because those people are just so thrilled to be there and to be just honored for stuff like that. Like remember when Greg Miller won Boogie and all that? Like
yeah.
Oh my god, they still talk about that to this day. So it's so cool. I want more real moments like that. I think would be better for the show than read a game and then move on to the next one. Like no, that's fine. Just show me more moments of you honoring these people in the industry. The Zelda stuff was cool too. All the music stuff was great, I thought. But anyway, let's move on because we're kind of running out of time, I think.
Yeah.
Street Fighter announced the 30th anniversary collection, so fuck me for buying Street Fighter 2.
See, you should have waited. Always wait, because there'll be another one come along next year.
I'm still gonna buy this other one, but this other one.
I love that it includes the original Street Fighter, which like almost nobody's ever actually played.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So it's to run them down. It's Street Fighter 2 Online Play Enabled, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Street Fighter 2 The New Challengers, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Online Play Enabled, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Online Play Enabled, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online Play Enabled.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm still going to buy it. And that's the only thing I feel burned about the Switch. But I have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They gave me a year's worth of fantastic games. So, whatever. I've been burned by Sony before with some stupid shit, too. So, I knew going in, buying a standalone Street Fighter 2 game for as much money as I spent on it was a stupid idea. But man, I've got hours in it already, so I've gotten my worth. I'll get this collection because I fucking love it, and the system's great for a fighter. Like the controls are really good. So
yeah, I'll bet actually.
Yeah. So it's I can't wait to jump into that one. I hope Warner Brothers is paying attention because I love Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 on the system.
Right.
Yeah. Let's jump into some more Warner Brothers news.
Speaking of Warner Brothers, real quick.
Yeah.
The executives looked at DC after Justice League and said, y'all fucked up, basically.
Yep.
So and it's weird. It sounds like a demotion what they're doing to John Berg. Instead of having him like co-run the film division, he's just going to be a production partner. But apparently that was what he wanted to begin with.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you're gonna be in charge of shit. And he was like, okay, but like I don't want that. um, John's is gonna be more advisory instead of hands on.
Yeah.
They wanted him to be their Kevin Feige, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's a shame. I mean, especially with Jeff Johns, like, oh my God, he's so good in the comics.
But that's the thing, like Kevin Feige is producing the Marvel films, and really that's it. Jeff Johns has so much on his plate.
That's true.
Like it was not really fair. Like none of this was organized right to begin with. It really wasn't.
That's true.
Tony Emmerich, who's the president of the Warner Brothers Picture Group, has even been talking about, just bringing DC films in house, and just screwing up the structure completely. That's how pissed off they are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Justice League comes out, gets 98 million, and then you see that Avengers trailer. If I worked for Warner Brothers, I would just throw my papers in the air.
Yeah, I would have too.
Like, what? How do you fucking compete?
Yeah.
Because that's 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
These are household names now. These kids that are 10 years old now have always known Tony Stark.
How many people back when this first started went Iron Man?
Oh, including me.
Yeah, like they went with Iron. Like I get it, he was an Avenger, but like Iron Man.
It's the same way people said Ant-Man. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
like it had that same mentality where as a comic book fan, more so than a lot of other people, when that came out, I was like, oh, Iron Man, that's such a B-list character. It's not as exciting as Batman or Superman or something. And then I heard on the radio, Iron Man was extremely good. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Went and saw it, and I was like, whoa, they're onto something. And then especially at the end when you see the Avengers Initiative, and you're like, oh shit, here we go.
Well, because that was just a joke.
Right.
That wasn't originally the plan, but when you make the biggest independent film ever made, then you do what you gotta do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
Oh yeah.
This was bizarre, and I know we're like over time, but I have to talk about this. Cineworld, which is a European, is the second largest chain in Europe, if I remember my stats right, bought fucking Regal for $3.6 billion.
That's crazy.
This is nuts because this is backwards. Like Regal should have bought them for like a third as much money, maybe. But instead it went the other way, and it's going to make them, it's now suddenly going to make them the second largest chain in the world.
Are there any American companies anymore?
Nope. AMC's owned by the was it Dalai something group in China. Now Regal's going to be owned by a European company.
I don't like that.
Hey, that's business.
No, I know that's business, but I hope it doesn't get into like a weird censorship type deal.
I don't think so.
I don't think it would either, but I don't know. I feel, like I like buying American. I like keeping jobs here, but I think that kind of sucks.
I don't think this is going to change anything like that, really, because that kind of stuff is going to come down to studios. Like that's where that gets weird. Because you notice how movies don't seem to have Chinese villains anymore.
Oh yeah, no doubt. That's why you get special scenes shot specifically to be shown in China nowadays and stuff like that. And no, I agree. Yeah, I mean, the closest one was a joke, and it was the Mandarin, right?
Yeah, but I mean that was, I wondered.
It had nothing to do. Like they completely changed how that was.
Right, and there was the idea. There was the double backlash behind Tilda Swinton being the ancient one, because they were like, oh, well, why did this character have to be white? And they went, well, because the original character was an old Tibetan monk. Now, if we put the stereotype aside for a minute, who is not going to be happy about a Tibetan character being pivotal to a hero's journey?
Right.
China. So
right. Oh yeah, you're right.
So that had to be changed for a couple different reasons.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it sucks, but that's the world now.
Right. And I say this owning a PlayStation and not an Xbox, so I understand the irony there.
A little bit.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. I want an American company to do good. It sucks that there's none.
Yeah. But
what can you do? That's the way cookie crumbles, I guess.
Well, and I mean, these businesses have to keep integrating because, I mean, look, Netflix, Hulu, whatever platform Disney's going to have, people just don't, there is an impact on ticket sales overall. Star Wars is going to do massive numbers because it's Star Wars, but on the whole, it's sliding. So they got to do something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's the business end of the news this week.
Yeah.
And then we still have another we have another week. We have more people involved in sexual harassment scandals. We've got Mario Batali is stepping away from his whole his giant business and all his restaurants and everything, because there have been accusations from 4 women surfacing that have kind of been detailing behavior for, I think it said, the past couple decades now. So that's just wrong. And in some giant news, there was a loss. There are a couple people who have been suspended by the NFL Network because of an actual lawsuit that's being filed by a former employee.
Oh.
Jamie Cantor is suing the network. I think the lawsuit is for wrongful termination, and in it is kind of claiming I was fired because I didn't, because I was like, hey, these guys are doing this thing, and then I got fired. I think I didn't read the actual lawsuit. I may not have all the details right, but the people named included Marshall Faulk, Ike Taylor, and Heath Evans, who are the ones that were suspended. She also named Eric Weinberger, who's an executive there, and a couple people who I don't think are at the network anymore, because Donovan McNabb is with ESPN now, and Warren Sapp has had another scandal already not that long ago, so he's out of it. But just we're gonna keep doing this every week because there's gonna be more of them. There always are.
Well, at least Roy Moore lost.
Yeah, goddamn Leah. I'm so. And here's the thing. I'm tired of just talking about it. I can't imagine what it must be like to have to live through this.
Oh yeah, but it's this sparked something. I mean, I think that's why they got the Time Person of the Year, right?
Yes, the Silence Breakers.
Right.
They called it.
It's massive. Yeah, it is shaking industries to the core, removing people of immersed power because of it. And it needs to happen. Yeah.
It does. It absolutely does. It absolutely all needs to happen. These people need to be. It needs to be known that these people are doing these things, and the necessary actions have to be taken. This just is. I'm just tired of our generation is going to have to come along and clean up all of the previous generation's messes. It's just aggravating as shit.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, this is not a new problem. They didn't invent sexual harassment or systemic racism or sexism in every industry, but I think now we're finally getting to the point where we're starting, hopefully, to get rid of some of that shit.
Right.
But yeah, and you didn't see Coco this week. Bummer. I really wanted to talk about it.
Oh, we will. I know we're going to be talking about Star Wars this weekend or sometime soon, but we'll talk about Coco. I need to go see it. It's just
they took the short away, so it's just the movie now.
I saw that. I saw that theaters were like, all right, we're going to take that away.
Well, it was Disney. They're saying it was a limited time thing only. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure I believe that.
That's cool. That's good for me.
Yeah.
Sucks for the kids that wanted to see that.
They'll get to watch it on ABC, where it airs as a holiday special like it was originally intended to. Because
you know... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did you know there's a Michael Jackson special? Did we talk about this?
No, my God, there is.
There's a Michael Jackson Halloween special that aired on Thanksgiving.
Sure, there was. Yeah, okay.
Let me see if I can look it up real fast.
Okay, yeah, because of course it would air on Thanksgiving. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it is. Michael Jackson's Halloween special is called.
What's that? Well, hey, there you go. Now, how long ago was this? Like an annual thing, and I just didn't know about it.
It's an animated movie. It stars like Lucy Liu and a bunch of other people. Jim Parsons, Alan Cumming, and it is a CGI movie about. It's called Michael Jackson's Halloween.
Okay.
So is that?
I don't know if I really want, because you think of Halloween, you think of kids in costumes, and you mix that with Michael Jackson, then I don't really know if I want that image in my head.
Well, right, exactly. I was watching, and I couldn't, it was one of those things where it's Thanksgiving, we're at a family member's house, everyone's talking and doing everything else. I think we haven't eaten anything yet. One TV had football on, so people were watching football. The other TV where the kids were at, which I was hanging out with, because I don't get to see my niece and nephew that often, had this movie on, and I thought, oh, it's an animated Halloween movie. How weird that it's on Thanksgiving on CBS or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I see Michael Jackson, and I'm like, is this like they're just trying to like it's not really Michael Jackson, but it's like, like they had to get close to as Mike. And then he starts dancing and singing, and it's Michael Jackson and it's Thriller. And I'm like, holy shit, he's got like a Halloween special. And my brother, of course, is like, you never heard of this? Like how dumb are you, Adam? And I'm like, I don't have kids. I don't know these things. I did. He goes, yeah, this is the special. They play it all the time. I'm like, what?
I had never even heard of it. When did they make that originally?
It premiered October 27th, 2017, I guess, which is really... My brother made it seem like it was forever.
It was because I was going to say, I was like, this sounds like a thing that what the hell? Did they make this did they make it before he died?
They made it after he died.
They made it after? Well, then what the hell? I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
He's a zombie in the movie.
Well, he'd be a zombie in real life, too.
Right. Oh, they have his nose and it's all
Which
down.
one?
The zombie one. No, I think he's human at some point. I don't know. It was an animated thing that I was just blown away by it, but I was also trying to help my niece beat Hello Kitty something or another.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, so that'll be fun. But I know this week's going to be busy. I got a lot of stuff I need to do, but I will go see Coco. I will go see Star Wars. Those are the two movies that I want to see, and if I somehow get enough time, I will see The Disaster Artist, because that's going to be neat.
Yeah, I'm going to have to wait till it's out on digital to see it, because I'm sorry, I can't drive to the other side of Charlotte just to go see it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. But we'll be back next week, and I will have pop filter promises. That I know I promised last time, but I will get it. Sorry about the audio. Make sure you go to our Facebook, We Geek Podcast, our Twitter at We Geek Podcast, WeGeekPodcast@gmail.com, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep for Twitter as well. Make sure you give us a review on iTunes. That really helps. And we will see you next week, Captain.